Trimble understood that they have a big gap in a good solution for procurement in the space. The timing actually was perfect, and they found StructShare. We were in a kind of a process, and they looked for a product that is already in the market with proven customers. Then the entire market crashed, the stock market, and just one by one they called and said, yeah, we won't join this round. Like we love you, we
Really?
love the
That's
venture,
interesting.
etc.
Ouch.
Yeah, so that wasn't fun. We had to stop and say, we are not in the right direction, we are stopping, we are reset. We did really a deep Arik and I and my co-founder did a deep analysis of everything, of all structures, history, all what we are at, like everything we could, in order to really understand, where we are at and what's happening. And that actually kind of saved the company. I think that the main change that AI gives to procurement and also in general to construction SaaS platform is that it will change completely the interaction between the customer and the software. Instead of writing things, you will talk or write whatever you want, and then the system will do all the work. So you won't need any structured input for the procurement.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Bricks and Bytes podcast, where we dive into construction and AEC technology. Before we get started though, if you're a startup founder or operator responsible for innovation in your company, or you want a deeper, more insightful look into technology in AEC, you won't want to miss our newsletter. From deep dives into particular technologies such as AI, robotics, design, software, and so on. Hot takes from investors betting big in AEC technology, and advice on building tech companies, including the stories and takeaways of the most successful AEC technology founders. Head over to www.bricks-bytes.com and sign up today to get this exclusive material straight to your inbox. And now for the episode. Major construction projects are complex, and delivery leaders know that things rarely go to plan. The problem is that most teams don't see what's slipping or why until it's too late. The best construction leaders know that in order to deliver on schedule, everyone needs to be planning together, committing to targets, and tracking performance every day. By bringing look-aheads, weekly work plans, visual staging diagrams, and daily activity briefings into one multiplayer platform, Afex gives the world's leading projects a single place to plan and coordinate their work. Join the largest contractors across Europe, the UK, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. Learn more at afex.co. That's aphex.co. In construction, precision matters. Every budget line, every schedule, every document. But too often, project data is scattered across tools and departments, creating risky silos. That's where ArcDesk comes in. ArcDesk is the all-in-one construction management platform designed to connect your entire project operation, from opportunity through to tender, all the way to handover. With real-time dashboards, cost control, scheduling, procurement, and document management in one place, ArcDesk gives you complete visibility and control. Trusted by contractors, subcontractors, and asset owners worldwide, ArcDesk has powered landmark projects from shopping centers to Europe's tallest buildings. If you're ready to reduce risk, protect your margins, and deliver projects with confidence, discover ArcDesk today. Visit arcdesk.com, that's ARCH desk.com, and see how leading firms are building smarter with ArcDesk.
All right, Or, thank you for coming on to Bricks and Bytes as part of your podcasting world tour. How does it feel to be on the number one?
I'm very excited. Thank you for inviting me. And yeah, let's see. It's number one. Let's have fun.
I don't know how you measure that, by the way, number one, but
I don't measure.
Okay, good. Us either. Okay.
But a number of handsome hosts. That's how you measure.
Just one, yeah?
Thank you, Owen.
Exactly.
You're welcome. Actually, maybe we should plug the prediction market now. It's a great time. Okay, no, let's just crack on with the episode. Right, let's do this. So tell us, we'll dive into a little bit of the acquisition story and obviously everything leading up to that event. And your thinking, choices, experience, emotions, and whatnot, all through that. But before we go there, why did Trimble buy StructShare?
That's a great question. You can ask them first of all. No, I'm joking. So from my perspective, Trimble understood that they have a big gap in a good solution for procurement in the space. Trimble is like has products across the board for contractors, and has also a lot of assets in supply chain, like a very robust data platform, supplier platform, etc. But the contractor side, the procurement persona didn't use their products because it's not for them. So the timing actually was perfect, and they found StructShare. We were in a kind of a process, and they looked for a product that is already in the market with proven customers, a team that has the expertise specifically in that specific persona, um, and also they didn't want a very big team that they will have like months or a year to integrate, etc., because it was very timely for them, and the proof is that we were acquired, and after less than a month we already launched the new product, Trimble Materials, that is formerly StructShare. Yeah.
How
And I
big were
think
you?
we were 21 employees. Yeah. um yeah, and I think something that I see at Trimble now when I'm within, and in general what's very important for them is the synergy, with the founders, with the team, that both personally and the vision will be very aligned, because ultimately we got in and start running while doing all the integrations and everything.
So you're
Mhm.
filling a strategic gap for Trimble that exists, and you also had the makeup of the company, small size, good technology, obviously, and it felt like a good fit for them. Were they? How did this conversation come around? Were they looking for a solution? Where did you knock on the door and say we're for sale? Like, how did that happen?
So actually, we were in a process with a couple of other players in the market. And what's funny is that I was planned to move to Boulder, Colorado, because my wife got a position there. And the first time I talked with Trimble was 2 weeks before I moved. So that was, sometimes stars are aligning.
Yeah.
Um, and I think at that, again, sometimes timing is everything, and we were already in a process, and from their side, it felt like they understood that, um, they discovered that they need to buy instead of building, because the other companies like us, Coach or Remarkable, the leader in this space, were very very far aligned, far along with robust products, a lot of features already. um yeah, so we got introduced by someone else, actually, regardless to the acquisition, regardless to anything, just because I know him and they look were in that space. And then we had a really good conversation, and again, timing is everything. So we had that conversation, we had another conversation, then I moved to Boulder, so we had the opportunity to come to their offices and meet the entire team. And that moved very very fast because of
Mhm.
the situation we were at.
Or you said that you were in the process of speaking with other potential acquirers. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what made you start thinking about selling the business or being acquired by any other company? And how long were you preparing for this process?
So we were in very interesting point. I think in the beginning of 2024. So um, we had challenges. We fixed those challenges, and then we felt what's going on in the market. Both a lot more interest in the market, and a lot more players. Of course, there's interest and money started pouring, investments, etc. And it was just kind of we were after 8 years building the venture, so we started very very early of construction tech, and it just felt like the right timing for the company to fulfill our vision through a strategic acquisition rather than continuing alone. And fortunately, we built a really, really great network in the industry very early. So we had the privilege to be able to talk with everyone without really talking about acquisition, but just understanding, the sentiment. And then we felt it's a good opportunity, so we went about it. Regarding preparation, it was everything like I would say it's kind of like a fundraising process where you prepare while you are working, but you're building the assets, you're building the story, you're understanding who are your acquirers, potential ones. Each one has maybe a different narrative, a different story. If it's like a big company like Trimble or Procore or Autodesk, you have one story. If it's a growing startup, it's a different story. If it's a private equity, it's a different story. So we had several opportunities. um yeah, and then you're starting, building the pipeline, starting to talking with the relevant people, understanding if there is an opportunity, so continuing it.
So each of these potential companies, did they have like different objectives, or there was like a common denominator for those that they were looking in a company like yours?
um there were different ones. For big companies like the Trimbles, Procores, Autodesks, it's they buy you for the product and capabilities in order to integrate them into their suite of products. Like Procore acquired Labor Chart or Level Set, or other companies. um, while if you're a private equity, for example, we had a couple of private equity companies that they were aiming to build a construction tech platform, so they started looking at the different components in construction tech that could be relevant. And ultimately, procurement, because it's such a core thing in the entire ecosystem, it's like in the middle of estimating and project management and financial management, and it's from the field to the office to the vendors. So it's something that is a really core thing in the industry. So it could be a potential angle for a lot of players, but it is not always a priority for all the players. And ultimately, we chose the home where we saw that it's a real priority. It's something that once we'll get in, we'll be able to continue to build what we are building and to fulfill our vision in the industry and just get more and more.
Hey, how easy or hard is it to incorporate 21 people that are used to working under the brand of StructShare, who are now employed presumably by Trimble? Is there like do people get upset? Do you have to manage that? Are people happy?
So, so first of all, I can say it for my case, but in general, it's really depends. Like I talked with a lot of founders that did it, and it really depends and it really depends really from the beginning how you are framing it and how you are preparing them. Even if for me, I always believe in full transparency and full visibility, how much I can. So it was really important for me, even in the beginning of the process where we didn't know if it's going to happen or not, to share that this is a potential direction for everyone, and that so they will understand why we are doing it and what's the reason. And it's not only to just be bought out. It's still our journey. And I felt that was the feeling when we got into Trimble. So everyone felt it's just like a kind of continuity of what we already built, and it is. So and Trimble also gave us that feeling and gave the team that feeling. So that was great. Um,
What's the
and
hardest?
but from the other side, I'm trying to say. So from the other side, it's hard to be a small team that everything is together and we have our own culture and jokes and etc. And then joining, a big company, and me as the founder, like if before like everything is with me and we are so close together, now like I need to handle a lot of other stuff. So that was a challenge, to keep the culture and the very close collaboration and feeling that we are still close to the customers, and that values that for us were a very core thing when you come to a corporate. And when we came, so the customer success side, for example, that moved to the global Trimble teams. It's not anymore like StructShare or Trimble Materials have a specific customer success. So that was like, I think, the biggest challenge. But again, I feel lucky. I feel that we landed very well, and that Trimble does give us, first of all, the cultures are pretty the same, which is one of the reasons I also wanted to join them. So that's
Do you have to wear a
it
suit
makes
now?
it easier. What?
Do you have to wear a suit now?
Not at all, man. I can still go with sandals to the office if I want.
Okay, it's better.
Nice.
It's better than going without shoes.
Right.
Yeah. Or what are your thoughts, if any, on like a private equity space acquiring startups in construction tech? I guess you had some at least calls with some of those. Yeah, are they doing any good to the industry?
That's an interesting question. I think that what happens ultimately with the private equity, they are not buying like the regular private equity where they just buy a company and operate it. The private companies, at least that I met and and seen in that are coming to the construction industry, is because they have a vision, like they identify an opportunity. So they are not just buying the one company; they are trying to build a platform or something like that. So I think it is very interesting because it gives an opportunity for more incumbents. Today there are very few that are leading the industry, and those private equity are kind of trying to build, more that would be able to take this industry forward. And for sure, it gives the opportunity for the startups, to be acquired. And there are not so many, companies in the industry that can buy currently. So it opens the market a bit more.
What would you have done anything differently with StructShare, given that now you had a successful outcome in the acquisition? Like you're obviously a lot wiser to building companies and even taking a company from like zero, the founding days, to what it is now. Like, is there anything that you would do differently if you were to start from day
Man,
zero?
there's so much, so much
Let's go
I
then.
would do differently. Yeah. I actually just had a post on LinkedIn that I talked about it.
Okay.
I think the main things I always say is, first of all, the people, hiring really diligently and thinking very strongly about who are you bringing to the team. Do they fit the specific stage you're at? And like taking the time when you hire, but then if you have a doubt even after you hired, you need to do that fast as well, to cut fast as well, because really the team is everything. It's the culture, it's the execution, it's the collaboration. It's like everyone, when you are 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, every leader has so much impact on the entire company, not only on the specific function they have. So that's one thing. The second thing, in regarding fundraising, in the beginning we did it like very urgently. Like we were so pressured to have money. Again, it was also different ages, like different different period of times in the startup journey. Currently, the industry is completely different. People are waiting a lot from fundraising, but we were in pressure of fundraising very, very early, and that made us take a lot of wrong decisions or focused on just short-term results rather than long-term planning, etc.
What's your advice here? Like, how would you help navigate if you were advising someone who is in a similar like mindset, what would you advise them to do?
So, when I work with early stage founders, first time founders, now, on my free time, I really just like to think thoroughly about the funding strategy, to have a funding strategy, even in the early days, and that not take money, not go to fundraise, because that alone is a very demanding process that people don't understand, that it means that now 50 to 70% of your work as a founder when you are 5 people is going to be fundraising and not building the company. So really building the milestones, understanding, what you going to fundraise when you have the momentum. And it's sometimes very hard because you say, yeah, but I need money. Like, I need money. So you just need to think about that very, very early from the foundation. When you build a foundation, you need to think when you will need money and to make sure that you are in the right milestones. Because we were just trying to, in the early days, trying to raise when it was very hard in construction tech, and you need a lot more proof. And in general, that's how our industry works. Like, you need more proof than any other SaaS industry, right?
What about choice of the partners, investors? Thoughts here?
So the way I see it is that
If you're lucky to
ultimately,
have a
especially in
choice.
construction tech, first of all, you need to have a choice. That's a great comment.
If you can't create a market for it, you'd have to create a market.
Well,
Otherwise,
I've
you'll get
heard-
whatever is out there for you.
Yeah, but I've heard
Yeah.
different things depending on who you speak to. Some say like you don't like if you need to fund money, then choice comes second. Yeah.
Yes.
I think
But we're talking
the
about
main
being
thing.
proactive with it.
I think the main thing I would say, first of all, is that they will trust you. They will trust that even if you are doing even if you are doing mistakes, they are trusting you that you are trying, you are trying the best, and that you are smart enough to navigate. Before even talking about value add, which is really hard to find, especially in our industry. Really, to have a really core strong trust. We had, fortunately, Compass VC was our leader. Talia, the partner, we were just she believed in us, and even in the hardest points in time, she trusted us that we will we will pass that, and she put the money where she needed. So yeah, that's the main thing I will say. In addition, you can find, we had really deep strategic partners, strategic investors that, it's just with the stage and with their priority, it didn't really help us and accelerate like we thought in the beginning. So I say that the trust is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And could you say a little bit about this hard moment, like 2024? Like, what was it, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. So the hard moment with Compass actually was in the before the funding round, where we were in a crazy momentum, and we had a line of like the best strategic partners, strategic investors already like interested in our round. Compass was supposed to lead it, and then the entire market crashed, the stock market, and just one by one they called and said, yeah, we won't join this round. Like, we love you, we
Really?
love the
That's
venture,
interesting.
etc.
Ouch.
Yeah. So that wasn't fun, one by one. And
How
then,
many was it, roughly?
from what?
How many dropped off?
How many investors?
Like dropped off at that
Yeah.
stage? Percentage
was
or?
four but it was most of the round. Like
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Compass, like two big strategic, and a couple of more.
Ouch.
And then the part of the reason Compass also was very interested is because we had those line of strategic even before we met them. And then those big strategic decided not to go, from reasonable reasons. And Compass just said, like, yeah, we will give you the initial that you need for additional 6 months. Now you have 6 months to
To
raise
make it.
the rest of the round. But they
Uh-huh.
took a big risk, and
Yeah.
fortunately we continued our momentum, and we were able to close that round.
Very
What
nice.
could you differently not to be in this position?
Well, it's what
at
you
that
said,
time?
the fundraising plan, huh?
No, but like particularly in his case, like how would he approach this?
Yeah, so that's a difficult one, because that was actually a well planned funding round. We were like,
Mhm.
we started in a good point. We had great momentum. We really had all the great investors aligned. We had a leader. We did a really good process. That was after all our learning about
Oh,
the
yeah.
run things that we did. But sometimes unexpected things come. So
Yes.
the only learning I can have here is to have more spare money, not to be
Yeah.
in that urgency. But that was actually like, I don't have too many learnings for that specific
Yeah.
process, because that was
That's
Mhm.
just one of
a
those
good
like
process.
parts of the journey which don't really have a kind of like there's no plan for it, right? It just
Yeah.
happens and you have to deal with it, and luckily you
Yeah.
did. So, hey, back
Well,
to we've got about some way through these lessons of you. If you were starting again, you said number one, people, the team. Number two, fundraising. Number three.
I think you talked about the 2024. So I think understanding your product market fit very well, and being very diligent on understanding that. So the mistake we had is that we had an amazing sales signals. Like we were closing 40-50% of the demos to sell. So we thought like that we are in a crazy momentum, and that we achieved product market fit, and like everything is going well. But then we spend a lot of money to increase the pipeline, because okay, now in order to multiple our growth, we need the pipeline because we are
Yep.
closing great. But we didn't give enough attention to the retention, to the usage. So what happened is that we built
So you neglected the product at some point.
we didn't neglect the product, but we neglected the signals that will show us the product market fit, because we were so kind of
Focused on
shined
the growth.
from the sales, from the growth.
Yeah.
And then we put a lot of money, and we just and we saw, both we have churn, and we have the ratio of demo to sales is reducing. So
Oh,
we had to stop and say, we are not in the right direction. We are stopping. We are reset. We did really a deep. Arik and I, my co-founder, did a deep analysis of everything, of all structures, history, all what we are at, like everything we could, in order to really understand, where we are at and what's happening. And then we did a clear reset, both on costs, both on team, and that actually kind of saved the company, because we
wow.
had to do it in order to also get the investor trust. So it was a really significant point in our journey.
You had to like almost completely restructure, yeah?
I won't say restructure, but refocus completely, where the company went. Yeah.
Tough choices.
So if you had one more opportunity to like go through this time, what would you do differently? Apart from, you said in general ignoring the signals, but like how would you know that you are not ignoring the right signals?
So first of all, I would build from scratch. I won't start selling before I feel that I'm in product market fit. Like I won't start selling. I mean, selling for growth. Like it's okay to sell because you want to get the signals, to see interest, to build a pipeline, to see that you have that trajectory and to learn, but not with expectations or even that you are now measuring your success by the amount of sales you are doing. In the early days, you need to measure your success in the amount of learnings you are doing in order to build the right product. And the
That's a good
learnings,
one.
of course, they come from the sales process. They come from prospects because ultimately you are building a product that you want to be able to sell. But more importantly, you need to build, I call it customer assets, right? You need those customers. They will be your sales assets later on. And we did everything in parallel. We did everything in parallel. We had customers. We worked with the customers while we are trying to sell and to grow. And again, everything because we were fundraising all the time. So
Yeah.
that's when I said, like, it becomes your focus and you're focused on short-term results. So that's what happens, right? So if you're building it from scratch, you're looking at where you need to go and what's important in each stage. You won't do everything in parallel when you're so small team.
Nice. Okay. Any more lesson?
I can write a book, I think, but I think we should hold it.
I think these are good. People fundraising, product market fit, not scaling sales until you have product market fit. This is insightful stuff for people, I think.
Hey listeners, I want to take a quick break to remind you about the Bricks and Bytes newsletter. If you're interested in learning about the technology shaping the future of construction, you won't want to miss the valuable insights we share each week. To get this exclusive content delivered straight to your inbox, head over to www.bricks-bytes.com and sign up today. Link is in the show notes. Back to the show.
Okay, where should we go next?
Wanted to just ask you about the space, the procurement space. So as you started StructShare 8 years ago, how did the landscape of procurement look like at that time? How has it changed? And maybe you can say, where is it going, you think?
Yeah, cool. So there was nothing, man. When we started, it was just like a crazy void. I always, like, from my point of view, when I see that a process in our world, even before AI, like in the digital, where everything is digital, and you see a process that everything is in emails, spreadsheets, text messages, like that's the core of the process, and it's such a core process. That's where I see ripe for, amazing opportunity. So the ecosystem was, there were a couple of companies that tried to do something. They were closed already, shut down. There was, I think back then, maybe Remarkable, like a competitor, was in that space, but no incumbent like worked on procurement. Everything was in ERP, so there wasn't a there were two companies that were in the space. One very legacy, and one that came to do the digital procurement space. But we didn't know them in the beginning. So that was back then. And again, construction tech was so early. Investment in construction tech was so early, especially in Israel, not at all. So everything in construction tech was very early, and going to the subcontractors, which where we are addressing, was also like very unique. Like nobody went to build a product for the subcontractors. Everyone were either GCs or owners. So that was kind of why, like, going to kind of the lower of the value chain and trying to sell them a product was difficult. Today, I think in the past few years, this space became a real, like, matured a lot, both from the market side, from the customer side. adoption and awareness for the need and looking for those solutions. And of course, from that, reflecting from that, more and more solutions. So I think today there are like 6 or 7 digital procurement solution that are addressing that specific pain. Um, and there's one or two. There were three leaders like StructShare, Kojo, and Remarkable. StructShare was acquired, so now Kojo and Remarkable. But there are three other companies that are popping. They get great investments from great VCs, and they are growing as well. So it will be very interesting to see what will happen with the landscape in the next few years. The solutions are like, if you're looking very high level, they're pretty much alike. Like they're providing addressing the same pain with the same workflows. Ultimately, we are not inventing the wheel here. We are just taking a concept that already works in the world, digital procurement platforms, and building it for construction industry. Like like most context solutions context SaaS solutions, it's like project management, there's a lot, but not for construction. Document management, a lot, but not for construction. So it's kind of the same thing. I think where it will go, again, it's with AI. It's first of all, with AI, a lot can happen.
Yeah,
so
was
that
going
would
to
be
ask,
interesting
like,
to see.
what's your crystal ball saying about LLMs impacting the procurement process? And yeah, is the process going to look same or similar to the way it looks right now? How people like procure materials?
I think that the main change that AI gives to procurement and also in general to construction SaaS platform is that it will change completely the interaction between the customer and the software. The output and the end result, in my opinion, will be the same, because ultimately what you are trying is to collect the data, get a lot of input, and provide insights and help decision making. So from the input side, that will, in my opinion, will change dramatically. But again, instead of writing things, you will talk or write whatever you want, and then the system will do all the work. So you won't need any structured input um, for the procurement. And from the other side, you'll have all the data in one place, and you would be able to provide just clear decision making to assist with that. And later on, you would be able to automate a lot. All of the repetitive work will just be not existing. Like you won't need to transform a requisition to a purchase order. The requisition will just connect to all the pricing catalogs, etc., and you'll have a purchase order, and that will be just be you'll need someone that will need to approve it and go to the distributor. And it will help a lot in looking at procurement from a strategic point of view, rather than handling it ad hoc, which is the how things work today. So it will, at some point, after the digitization and like doing the same processes in the same way, it will allow all the companies, not only big companies that have strategic buyers, strategic procurement, to do everything with really planning it from advance, not doing everything ad hoc, and being able to do it the planning more autonomously. And then again, the main focus of the procurement function within the company will be to make sure that everything works and everything comes to the site. So it will reduce all the redundant work and the ad hoc.
If you were, or tomorrow, like saying I'm leaving Trimble, I'm gonna do a startup in procurement again, what would the first 30 days look like? What would you try and get done?
So actually, fortunately, Trimbles allow us to do what we think is the future as well. So we are actually Eric, my partner, actually, he is leading that now. So we are building a foundational kind of the foundation for how procurement will look. It's not anymore like in the future. It's like in 1, 2, 3 years. So in parallel of bringing enhancing the current platform, workflow based platform, etc., we're also building what we call the AI first procurement platform. I won't get into details too much because that's our vision and strategy, but we are building the foundations for that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like full autonomy to do so within such a large organization like Trimble? What are the constraints? There must be some constraints.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of constraints. When you need to, when you need a budget, you need to sell what you want to build. So it's kind of like you are a founder and you need to raise money. It's kind of the same thing. You're
Come
building
on,
the
founders
vision.
are good in selling. So
Yeah, you should have an easy job there.
Thank you. So yeah, of course you have constraints, and you need to do what you want. You need to, like a founder, you need to find a creative ways to do it with the resources you have, because even the big companies that they have, of course, a lot of money, but they have also a portfolio of dozens of products. You're not one product in the company, and they put all the attention for you. So you need to sell the vision, to sell what you're building, to sell how will it impact the organization.
an ROI, I guess
And
it's
the
sort of.
ROI and everything, and why now. There's a lot to do. Or you're finding creative ways to do it with the resources that you have, because you just believe in it and you think it's not so far that's how things will work. So it's kind of, we are always thinking how we are balancing between what we need to do now and the near future, because with AI everything runs so fast. So it's not like, okay, I'm building foundation for something in 3 years. No, like in 6 months or 12 months I'll need to implement it in any way for the customers.
Or how can we go to the StructShare's go-to-market strategy? So you hinted at a little bit earlier, like the sales was going well, maybe the product was not quite keeping up. Was there like certain things that you were doing which were like really impacting the success of the sales teams, like whether it be a certain channel, like a framework or whatever it might be?
So I would say, with all honesty, that our go-to-market wasn't the strongest pillar in our venture. So and subcontractors was, again, still is very hard to sell direct. What we looked for along the way is how can we not go direct to the subcontractors. We looked going through the GCs, going through the distributors, going through associations, and at some point it never worked like we imagined. But to find a credible source for you as a early company that will give the market, the customers, the credibility they need in order to use you, that's something that is significant. If you don't have, like, one way is the case studies, and the second way is really having a big company. So for example, we had a partnership with Procore very, very early. We were the first procurement solution in their marketplace, so we played on that kind of card in the early days, and that works to attract customers. Again, now it's everything is different, but in the early days, that help us to attract a lot of leads.
Mine?
Okay, can I move on?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so the acquisition price for StructShare has not been disclosed.
Hey, mine, you were privy to this, but we agreed that we would not discuss the valuation or any numbers here.
Fair. So since it's undisclosed, then the hottest acquisition this year seems to be the one that came public last week. ICOM buying Consigli. Have you got any thoughts on what happened?
First of all, that's a crazy acquisition in my opinion. I didn't even know that the company that was acquired. Like honestly, it's first I don't think that until this acquisition any of the software companies, the Procore, the Trimble, like would buy a company in such a in such a multiple.
No chance.
But again, AI is changing everything, and maybe it will change something in the valuations, etc. I don't know that company so deep to give like to kind of say if it's worth it or not, but I'm just from my side, like ACOM buying a company is completely different than the software incumbents buying companies. It's completely different motivations, completely different
I mean,
way to evaluate.
if I was a startup, I'd
Yeah.
100% be trying to sell to one of these companies.
Well,
versus-
now you will see most likely more.
Right now
Yeah.
it's very interesting. If
Yeah.
until now, no startup thought that as part of the acquisition strategy, I would think about the ACOM Turner or whatever. There was always those, and I'm very curious to see if it was like just a one-time thing, or it will kind of shift the way context startups are looking at and investors are looking at the opportunity. So it would be very interesting to see.
It is, yeah. I don't think anyone can say for certain what will happen there. But I agree. I'm on board with you. I think that it would be very interesting to see if people follow suit or whether people are like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, because it's not like ACOM is buying them to sell the product, or to generally the incumbents, they are buying the product because they know we have the customer base, we need capabilities, and we can expand our customers, or we can open a new market, or we need that specific technology to accelerate a specific product that we already have. But that's like a completely different story, right? So I read the article. I really love their approach. It's like we had two choices: either saying, okay, there's a risk here, and maybe there will be like they're saying, we are afraid that software companies will become contractors or become engineering firms because of AI, and we kind of replace them. So they said, okay, why we won't be those that are taking that technology and building that on the technology foundation.
But the price is still matters,
Yeah.
and it's like physics, really, right? So, like hoping that no one can recreate this outcome within $390 million. It's kind of, it doesn't, in my head, it doesn't stack up, at least.
I'll do it for that.
I'll
Yeah.
do it for that as well.
Yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. Such a good subject for debate as well. And like my post earlier on LinkedIn has resulted in a number of new experts on my LinkedIn feed, which I'm very grateful for this week as I have educated myself threefold, fourfold, fivefold, tenfold, whatever. Okay.
Let me ask you this, maybe. How did you approach creating market for selling structure to someone? Like, how did you think about creating the market for acquisition?
You mean not for the product, for the company, for the acquisition?
For the acquisition, yeah.
Yeah. So I said, fortunately, I was positioned, like I was there were a lot of potential acquirers along the way, because it's a core thing in the construction space. And I had conversations along the years with a lot of potential buyers. So when we decided strategically that is the right moment to do it, I didn't need to create a market. I already had the potential like buyers, that reached out along the years, and I stayed connected, and we talked, once in a while. So there was a market already, and I just had to do it in a way that it will be positioned well for StructShare and for the company, and ultimately to close it. It's not easy at all. It needs a lot of stars needs to be aligned in order to close the deal. Even if there's the opportunity, and even if there's the interest, and even if there's it makes sense to all parties, it needs to be in the perfect timing where the acquirer, has the capacity to do it, has the priority to do it, has the cash to do it, and it's just fits into their strategy in the specific time. We had players that it was a perfect fit, but it just wasn't the right time for them to do that.
How long did it take you, and what was the most difficult along when the negotiations or conversations to go through?
I think the most difficult was the due diligence. That was
Why?
On Trimble.
that was a very long process, and we thought, because we're a small company, it will be kind of, we'll check a couple of things and it will be okay. But because they're a public company, the due diligence is kind of the same to any size. So it was long and diligent and deep, and so many, taking things from that happened 5, 6, 7 years ago, and why, and so
Really?
many
Wow.
things in that process. Well, it was exhausting.
I heard a few founders say they're always surprised by how deep the acquirers go into the business. Can you just give some specific examples? That's kind of strange to hear. How or is it emotionally when you're in that cycle of leading up to the acquisition? Are you still thinking maybe this will or will not happen? Are you really charged, or are you a little bit more kind of I don't know the right word, apathetic, but it's either going to happen or it isn't kind of attitude?
He's asking you, did you get lazy because you got acquired?
No. I mean before, as it's happening.
Before you,
Yeah. And of course that as well after.
and after, not lazy at all. Actually, I'm continuing to be so passionate about what we are doing, and again, everything is so continuous to our vision and roadmap. So, and it is in the attention. So I'm very excited, and I'm not again, it's not like being a founder because you are in a big company, but in regards to my energy, I'm very energized, and the people at Trimble are passionate about the industry and what we are doing. So it's the momentum is just continuing. So that's from that side. From the acquisition side, it's like high and lows during the journey. During that, I'll say in total it was from 10 months from then we really decided to go to the acquisition process to the actual closing, but actually 5 months of that was due diligence. So it was so yeah, of course, during the process you think it will happen. Wow, we have so many players that are interested. Oh, nobody can, how much will it be? You have a couple of players, how much will be at the end? How are you doing the kind of trying to do a competition between them? And but all the time it's will it happen or not? Again, before, when you are kind of naive, you think, yeah, there's a potential, why shouldn't that happen? But then when you are getting deeper into the conversation, you understand that there's so many stakeholders that need to want it and approve it, and there's so many criteria and so many considerations that even if you're in good momentum, you never know if it will happen or not. So that's stressful. And after, during the due diligence, it's even more because you already chose. You don't have the other options anymore. and then you're in due diligence. And I don't know, like when you build a company in 8 years, you're not, and you're a first time founder, you're not building the company in the most straight way. So you have, many things like
Yeah,
many
loose
bodies
and
under the documents and
yeah.
things like that, and things that are discovered, things that you
Yeah.
didn't even know or think
Oh,
about, and
crap.
like
These
yeah, so
these groceries bought in 2018 through the business account.
yeah, exactly. Why did you buy this vodka bottle on from your yeah,
Oh.
but and then and you don't know what is the what really impacts a decision. Like you don't know,
Mm.
if I bought something from my credit card, what is that? If you have like, I don't know, something in your code or security, for example, like you're a startup, so of course you have like security, threats in your code, and you don't know if that's something that is like a make or break. Like you think maybe it's a bubbly company, they can't buy a company that has like issues,
That's true.
etc. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was specific, like, and you're or you have an agreement with a strategic partner that wasn't terminated, and then like will it impact the process or not impact the process, and things are delayed all the time, and so it's
A lot of stuff.
yeah, a lot of stuff are happening in a very short amount of time, and you're already like invested in it, and like that's where it's going. Like, so when you're on that path, it's like, if it's not happening, what will happen? Like we kind of once we signed a term sheet, we focused everything on that. So that was an interesting few months.
Time. Yeah. Did you have like an advisor for this process, or that was just your investors or maybe friends?
How many solicitors were you
So
up against?
yeah, so we did it pretty much alone. I did it just from kind of my logic and learning. So me and my co-founder, just read about how things are working, what's the process. Um, the investors were involved in the decision making where they had to, but not in the actual process itself. So we did it kind of alone. So I really learned so much in those, like in that process. Now I'm actually also kind of helping others that are in that process, especially in construction tech.
Or in 2000. Oh, and you want to say something, or
Yeah,
should I go?
I was gonna say my last question, but mine you can ask before and then I'll go because it's like a little bit off topic. So.
Okay. So I think the internet says that in 2021 you got integrated with Procore.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about startups integrating with behemoths like Procore? How does it feel? How relevant it is, especially right now in the LLM stage and age?
So when we integrated with Procore, that was very early in our journey, and that was one of the best things we have done. Like, as I said, like in the beginning, we launched the product officially in 2021, and we integrated in May 2020, in January 2021, and we integrated in May 2021.
10th
And
of May.
yeah, and Procore was actually great. We just built a great relationship with their specialty contractor team. They weren't specialty contractor focused, but they were investing resources in order to go to the specialty contractor space. And we were a solution. When you look at a self-performing contractor relative to a GC, has materials and workforce management, which is very, very important. It's not only project management. And we were the materials part, and no one had materials yet. So we weren't. We heard about kind of the concerns of Procore maybe copying or whatever thing, or doing what you did, but in my mind, it doesn't matter. Like, if I'm integrated with them, okay, they know more, they know what's happening, but it's not like they will, like, if I won't be integrated or won't work with them, what's the risk? Like they will know what I'm doing if they will care about my space any case. So at least I will leverage it. And they have a very strong and close customer base. And actually our initial go-to-market was really leveraged by our close partnership with Procore. Yeah.
Mm. Very nice.
With
Okay.
the LLM and
sorry.
AI, that would be a really interesting how and what will happen in that space. I think that from one side, again, the Procore, the Trimble, the Autodesk, they have the platform, they have the customer base, so they have the biggest assets in construction. Like construction tech is really ultimately, it's not, nothing is easy, but it's not the hardest thing to build a good solution.
It's the distribution of it.
Yeah, the distribution of it is very, very hard, and those are the assets that they have. But from the other side, again, AI could change everything, and it will change a lot. There's a lot of stories now with the Procore marketplace and the LLMs and the AI, so I'm curious to see what will happen in this aspect as well.
We saw that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Or what were you optimizing for in life 3 years ago, or perhaps during your time at StructShare? How about now? You have a child on the way. You're working at Trimble. What's changed?
What you ask? What did I optimize in life?
Yeah. What were you optimizing for?
Wow, that's a great question.
He just moved to America for American dream, I guess.
Yeah.
When I was a founder, I optimized for the success of the company. Especially in the beginning when I was I was younger, that was all I cared about. At some point, in the evolution, I got a bit smarter, um, um, in favor of my wife and my, to build also to take care about other things as well. But really, really optimizing to the success of the company. I felt, as a young and first time entrepreneur that if it will succeed, or when it will succeed, it will be a really great, jump for me, to build more things, to bring more impact on people, on the world. So that was the focus. Now, actually, so I was acquired. So life is different, but I'm always optimizing for impact. Like I feel that that I can have a really um, um, good positive impact on the world and the people around me, and I'm trying to optimize for that all the time, both as a founder to my team or to my partners, or to the people I work with, or customers or partners. Now within Trimble, to positively impact them, to help grow the people, the organization, my specific product, the vision specifically, and also I'm very passionate about construction tech in general, to push this industry forward. I think construction has so much impact on our world, on everything. If it's like sustainability, money wasted, materials wasted, so many people and great people, that are building our world, and that technology has the opportunity to impact it very positively. So that's something I'm very passionate about as well. And again, my family and friends. So that's something now I have. I'm also kind of more mature as a person, so I put more focus on that.
Very cool. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was great.
This is the greatest construction tech podcast.
Boom.
Number one.
Oh, he signed off on that. Yeah.